Hi guys, my name's Habtamu. I was adopted in 2011 with one biological sister. I'm currently living in Minnesota, small town. I'm still searching for some of my family in Ethiopia, so yeah.
Hello, guys. My name is Abraham, and well, to pronounce it right, it's Abraham. That was the name that was given to me when I was picked or whatever from the village. This guy came to my village, and that's the name I ended up with, and then it stuck with me all the way to America. I was adopted to Colorado. Currently, I'm living in Indianapolis. So first, I came alone, and then they decided to adopt two more adoptees, but we're not related at all. There's three of us here.
And they're also from Ethiopia.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what side where you from?
I'm from South Ethiopia as well. Bench Maji zone. It's called a bench shekel now. So
Is that pretty close to Waleta? You know where that is?
yeah, we're close to you. We used to be the southern nations, and then like Sidamo separated, and then pretty sure Walaita and like Walaita is trying to become their own state, but like bench shekel and stuff that we became our own state. But we used to be southern nations. Yeah, I'm close to you basically. Yeah. What do you remember from Walaita, or like of you growing up before you got adopted or brought to Addis Ababa?
Ah, I remember we were just doing. I was like pretty much like a sheep herder, so I was always taking care of animals and like feeding them and taking them out, like just shepherds stuff. Besides that, we did like some farming. I remember that. I remember just a bunch of trucks like would just roll through Leyte like once in a while. I went to school there for a little bit, which I remember like at that school like because I was pretty young and I for the first time I seen like a white person. They were like just a lot lighter than everybody else, and I was like everybody was just kind of confused about that. Other memories, not so good ones too. Like a lot of bad stuff, just people ambushing us. My uncle's house got burnt down like three different times. Same uncle.
Damn.
Yeah, and they eventually
Like,
like forced to move out. Like somebody would just come and burn his whole house down at night while his whole family was in there. It
what the
was
fuck?
yeah, it's fucked up.
Well,
Yeah.
like when I came to the US, one thing that like I struggled with a lot was trying to belong, find somewhere where I belong, like even if it was like school or at home. And then that feeling of never being heard at home, like everything you say is kind of used against you. They don't listen to what you're saying. Like your feelings are invalid and everything they say is correct and you're not allowed to like speak your feelings. A lot of times like I just felt like I wasn't heard. I dealt with my emotions just like holding it in and not talking about it or just pretending. And I feel like that really affected me not being able to know how to speak my feelings because I only know how to hold it in because I grew up all those years just not being able to say what's on my mind. Like, oh, like they're always correct, da. So I feel like that affected me a lot. It was like very hard for me.
I struggle with that pretending too. Like I did pretend for a long time too, and the people that do like listen to this, like looking back at it now, I don't really encourage that pretending or just sucking it up and thinking it'll get better just because like you just said it fucks you up at the end of the day. So like when I just decided, like I had enough and like I was just gonna find a way out, like because I realized like both the situation I was just a loser in both of those. So I think that it's important
Yeah.
to speak your mind and your feelings out loud, even when it sucks and when you don't know what the outcome might be. Just let them hear it from the beginning, because truly I don't think they hear us or they don't care, they don't respect it. So like sometimes you gotta even act it out to get your
Yeah.
life.
Every time like I'll try to speak out, I was just shut down. Like every time just shut down. And then, there's like after that, you start being reactive, like I started running away. I started doing all this stuff and it didn't make the situation any better. It kind of just made it worse. But that was because like I felt like I wasn't being heard. Nobody was listening to me. Like it felt like everything I was doing was wrong. Like it could be the smallest thing. And like yeah, I ran away like maybe like three times. And then I was also sent to like this thing called respite care where I lived with this lady. I don't know what it was supposed to do, but it didn't really do anything for me. They just sent me away for like 2 weeks or something, and I was there like helping this like lady garden and like she would I think she was like a counselor basically because she would like the only people she dealt with was adoptees that I noticed, and I asked her like, like this doesn't happen with people that like have biological children. This only happens with like kids that are adopted and stuff. And she was like, she looked at me kind of funny, and I was like, yeah, like I can make those connections, like I can think, like I see like this, like nothing is right, like, and you're probably profiting off having these children at your house, and like they had locks on their door, they had like like alarms, so like every time you open and shut the door, like it tells like what the fuck, like it was crazy. And I wasn't there for that long, and I didn't want to be there, so then I went back to my adopted parents, and like again, like pretending like everything's good, like da da da, like just so I could make it out. I was always told like when I turn 18, or when you turn 18, you're gonna get kicked out. Oh, when you turn 18, you're gonna get kicked out. So all in my head was like, oh, like I need to be able to like support myself, sort of, or like be good, and maybe they'll let me stay over 18 and all that, which it didn't happen because I got kicked out when I was 17 and I lived with my friend. It affected me a lot, but like I kind of like my whole life was kind of just holding everything in. So like, I look fine, but even though like I'm not fine, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, man, it's hard. Important thing is just don't give up and like take an easy way out and like just say fucking life. Cause I know some people that done that, and it's sad. Like even from Ethiopia, like I'm glad, like just a fighter, and we're all fighters. I don't know, like another thing like adoptive parents like to do is, we talked about this earlier, but like how they pin siblings against each other, it's important we realize that too. Just try to understand our own siblings or
Yeah, sometimes I forget like I was adopted with like two others, and like they were feeling the same feeling as me, because like you're dealing with so much of your own, what you're going through, that like you forget, oh, like my brother and my sister too are probably going through the same thing, but then also like they learn how to hide it, and deal with it. And it's crazy how like we can hide it so good, even though we live with them and we don't notice. And like Habtamu said, like our parents pin us against each other, so we're framing each other for things. And yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just start with my guess first family. Obviously, like due to the lack of just understanding the culture and the language, when I first got here, like everything was good, I loved everything, all these people. Once I just started understanding like just how I was getting treated just in general, but like compared to their biological kids and stuff, it was not good. And the more I realized and the more I learned, the more I started getting punished and getting more hated, basically. Anytime I was out of the house, like I was pretty happy. I could get along with people pretty well. At school, I was doing pretty decent, but like I would even get hated for doing good. So it was pretty wild. And they had three biological kids, the first family, and they adopted me and my sisters. So there was about five of us in total, and definitely didn't get treated the same at all in any way. Once I've started, understanding everything, learned what was going on, like I wasn't really even told actually. Like I'm told of that same day. They just told me like, and you're gonna go live with this family for a while, which was my second family. They had about 10 kids adopted from Africa, a couple from South America, and a couple from US. Before I even got there, they were already told just how bad of a person, crazy I am, and how I'm gonna act up and stuff like that. And they like sat me down one day and just told me like they're expecting me to do this, that, and I had no idea what the hell they were talking about. So I'm like what? Anyway, they just got told a bunch of BS that was not even true at all. Like they were super religious and like to the point where like it was just more than strict. Like we were just forced to do stuff, like just forced to volunteer, forced to get up like 6 a.m. and read, memorize verses, Bible verses. For most part, they treated everybody there, their biological kids. They had like four biological kids. They were a bit older, so we didn't really get to see them a whole lot. And even when we did, they were just always fucking lazy ass bums, just playing games all day. And the adopted kids, most of us got along pretty well. I don't really have a whole lot of issue, like nothing crazy of an issue with the siblings there, I guess. He's in this group. Jonas, pretty much considered my brother. He's also from Ethiopia, and that's how I met him. He was there. So me and him became like a pretty solid duos for a while. And yeah, me and him pretty much just had enough there too after a lot of things that were going on. And the cops got involved in stuff. I had to go back to the, I guess, foster care because technically I wasn't even supposed to be there, like not legally, and cops didn't know why I was there, so they put me in foster care till they figure it out. That process took a while, and basically my first family just terminated their rights to me and basically said we don't know them. And eventually I ended up with the third family that I got adopted into. They were okay and probably the best. I mean, they had their issues, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like just like just hearing you talk, it's like I'm glad you survived, but this is like yeah, I'm sorry, and it's just it's really cruel.
It is, and it was like that second family was, they like isolated us pretty much from just the outside world. Like it was really weird and odd. Just like it was weird, and like they eventually even moved us to all the way up in northern Minnesota, like the farmland.
What were you doing on the farm?
Well, they wanted just us to work on the farm, and they had a whole plan of building shit, getting animals, and all this, and that was just not the life rest of us were looking for.
It sounds like child labor.
Yeah, it definitely was, and it started way before that. But yes, it was. I talked about a little bit about on Let's podcast, but like it came to the point where like they wouldn't even let us sleep in the house or like just feed us one sandwich, and we would have to go do some demolition work on an old house and take it down. It was. I don't think we should forget about it, but I try to not to even focus on some of that stuff anymore. Like just trying to forget, it doesn't do me any good to think about it or hold it on, like. And I think that's for most adoptees. I think that you should live free, be glad you survived, not like saying doesn't matter what happened to you or don't talk about it or like like don't ignore it, but just be happy and look for what's next in life. Try to meet good people like you guys and talk to people like that, and I don't know, have a relationship with God. Help me deal with a lot of that stuff and get through a lot of it.
To me, it's just it's so cruel and dehumanizing that I feel like to survive that, you kind of have to compartmentalize, associate, or just accept it to some degree just to move on because but I don't know
Mhm.
if everybody's capable of that. I don't know. Like I guess everybody reacts differently, but I think that this has big impacts on you.
It definitely, like, I'm like, it's not like I've moved on forward and I'm done with it. Like, I don't know if it's ever ending, to be honest with you. Like, I try to forgive and forget, but like, it's always gonna be there. So I don't know. I think, every day it's like you gotta do the same thing. And I think that's where the spirituality comes and helps me because, like, it's what God did, and like, and He'll ultimately be the judge, and they're not gonna walk free. So I have that comfort knowing that. It did definitely impacted, I think me and a lot of other adoptees because like they just, just hammer just negative shit into your head. I can't do this, you can't do this, you won't be that, like from very young age. And it's already, my mentality is already just makes me feel like I'm lesser than everybody else already. So it is hard. It's not easy for sure.
I wanna add to what Habtamu said earlier. When he was talking about his family, he said like the more he got to know, like felt like his family didn't like him more, and I felt like the same. It's like the more I learned about myself, being black, like Ethiopian, or like finding my family, the more they like didn't like me because it was kind of against their views. Their blue lives matter, and I'd be like black lives matter because he like no shit, I'm black, right? So it would be like they would dislike me more because I had like an opinion that didn't align with theirs. About how Thomas family again. Sounds like your family just bought like slaves. That's what it just sounds like. You said they got like 10 children, and you
Hmm.
guys are working on farms and stuff. Like that's basically it. Just sounds like slavery. Like they're just buying children. But
Yeah,
that's
they
cool.
saw themselves as a saint, but truly that's what it was. Yeah.
But yeah, I was adopted with two other people, Colorado, all white school, and it was like I never had like a self. Like the more I learned about, Black history, like learning about like how many presidents France has killed and all this stuff, being like pro black. think my like white family was very like against me learning about like pro black things, even though they like they like reggae and they'll go to like reggae concerts, even they leave us home. And like us, we'd never be like around any type of black people. They would like make black people seem bad. Oh, like you didn't want us to be like that, or like we shouldn't hang around black people. So like when I first came to America, like I feel bad saying this, but like I ain't like black people, even though like I'm literally the exact same as them, right? Like I'll stay away from them. That's what they wanted, right? So I was like, okay. But then, like once I started getting older, realizing, I'm one of them, like, so basically I don't like myself. So, like once I started liking myself, liking my features, because there was a point when I didn't like myself. When I first came to America, I went to an all white school, Once you realize you're different, there's nobody in the whole school that looks like you. You want to be white and have the type of hair, that type of skin. So like every night I go to bed, I used to pray to like wake up with like white skin and like my friend type of hair. Like, I got mad one day. I was like, man, freaking God hates me, man, because every time I wake up, I'm the freaking same person. Like my hair the same, my skin the same. So then I was like, man, I don't like this motherfucker. Like he don't even listen to my prayer. So that's when I was like, man, fuck this motherfucker, man. Like I feel like I was just mad a lot and like I really hated myself. Learning about Pan Africanism and reading like I read this book, Things Fall Apart, reading like Egyptian history and all that. I think helped me like become Pan African, especially reading like Ethiopian history. Even though there's like a lot of problems, even there's racism and all that in Ethiopia too amongst ourselves. But like I feel
Mhm.
like it helped me like myself and be more aware of who I am. And I feel like my adopted parents didn't like that I was becoming aware and like finding my identity. My whole thing of going to Ethiopia was finding who I am. And I feel like it really helped with my like identity crisis. But like my adopted parents, they would like always when we were in the orphanage, right? They would shave our heads every time the white people come. So I came to the U.S. and then they would freaking like shave my head too, all the way to like fifth grade. Dude, like shave my hair, like I'd just be bald, like what the fuck? And I didn't get to like grow my hair until I was in like I was probably like what like 14, 15 or something. By then, we'll let you grow out your hair if you take care of it. You could tell like they didn't like my hair.
Yeah.
And I remember them having issues like doing my adopted sister's hair also in Ethiopia. The girls always have their hair braided and stuff. But like my white mom would try to like make my sister's hair like put a bunch of shit in there to make it, go down and stuff. But like not just me, but like a lot of adoptees, they didn't know how to take care of their hair. When I was in my village, like I remember my mom, she braided my hair. Well, the boys, we grow out our hair. It was weird to always be getting your freaking head shaved, especially when I came to America too. I struggled a lot with like my identity. So that's when like I started really like researching about like African history, slavery, and started learning like more about Africa and like how black people ended up US. I learned about like Marcus Garvey, Thomas Sankara, all the Pan Africans that were killed by like French in the US and like how they keep us poor. One thing too is like adoptive family would make me feel like if they didn't save me, like, oh, I'll be dead, like they always had this thing where like they thought I was like dying and starving, which like was totally the opposite. I was not dying. I was not starving. I never like been starving until I came to America. Like I never knew what the fuck starving was. Like even though like we didn't eat like 3 meals a day, like that's not a normal thing. Like where I was from, we eat when we're hungry. The reason why they even like learned about adoption was through their church, and that's how they portrayed the whole of Africa. Everybody's starving, dying, begging for shit. Like they need white people to come save them. I don't know why they went to Africa when there was people starving in America. Children. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense or add up. But and then they add more to the the homeless kids in America because then they make us homeless. And then they're just adding to the problem that's in the U.S. It's like, what was the point of that? It's kind of dumb, right? And then one other thing also was like feeling like very alone, not having like anybody that relates to like your feeling. Like I felt very alone. It was just kind of like just me, myself, and like my memories. And the only thing made me happy was thinking about going to Ethiopia or listening to Ethiopian music. I always thought, oh, like I'm gonna marry like a Ethiopian, like no matter what in my culture. Like that was always in my head. Once I started like liking myself and like liking my features, my hair, it's like I really like started loving black women too. It was weird. I think it's like I saw the reflection of me and them, I think it was like that sort of thing. I really like love and I like adore black women. Yes, I don't know. That sounds weird, but
Totally makes sense. And that's so beautiful that there's this theme of like mistreatment, but like this going towards like books and like history and well, not everybody has that trajectory, but I just think like, yeah, I really like hearing that was kind of like your outlet.
yeah, I was like, like how they like keep like knowledge away from you because you know a dumb person is easier to control than one that knows what's happening.
Oh, we can't hear you, Habtamu.
Can you hear
Uh,
me now?
Yeah, now we hear you.
It's kind of similar to what Abram was saying, like that they made sure that like I didn't come in contact with a whole lot of like I guess it's not like that they made sure, but like it would be events or schools they'd pick. It was like, it was always to like kind of exclude me from that. Like the city itself was somewhat diverse, but I couldn't go out. I couldn't really do anything, so I didn't know anything either way. So it kind of sucked in that aspect because we couldn't have no phones or nothing. Like no internet. My final family, I also went to school, and I was a bit older at this point. I was like probably like 15, 16. And this was all white school. Like, I mean, all like no other race, not even one, like just all white, just small school. And like, I kind of felt similar way as him. Like it made me feel like the school, the people in it just made me feel less because I'm black. I just hated that like I was there. So like having that identity crisis where like I just hated being black, or like I didn't necessarily want to be white. I didn't know like what I want to be. I didn't understand why people were hating me, for what. I didn't get any chances to really interact, read. I could only go to school and come back home, go to church.
like what helped me was like, you know, I was determined to go back to where I came from, like no matter what. Like I knew because you know they'd always tell me like, oh, after you're 18, you can go back like buy yourself a ticket and stuff. You know, even though they could have bought a ticket and we could have went at any time, I had to wait and get my own ticket when I turned 18. So that's what I did. Like I was determined to finish school. 4 6 months left of school, and I wanted to drop out just so I could like you know go because I was kind of like done being in the U.S. I was working like going to school and working, so I saved. I was able to save up some money, buy a ticket, and went to Ethiopia. Like you know, I always have planned from like the moment I came to the U.S. because you know I felt kind of just trapped until I was 18 or able to buy my own ticket and leave. You know, I'm gonna get to my family. I'm gonna meet my brothers again. I'm gonna see my grandma again. I'm gonna see like, you know, my village again. Like I was just thought about all the like good times that I had over there, you know, like being with my cows, the goats, and like, you know, taking them out to feed them, you know. And you know, Habtamu can relate because he too was a herder, so you know, and that's what I was, you know, take my father's goats, cows, and stuff. And so I was determined to get back, see my sisters, and just to hear my language again. That's what really helped me. Even though, like, being here, like, every minute, I felt lost, hopeless, and just lost. Like, I didn't really have a purpose. My only purpose was to get back. And I feel like I did eventually, like, do it, but then it didn't really, like, solve anything because then, you know, you get back and then it's like, I don't speak the language. Like, I don't have memories with anybody anymore because you know that we grew up without each other. The only memories I have is us when we were little. You get that feeling all over again of being lost and like not fitting in again, basically. So you don't belong there anymore, and you're basically a foreigner now because you don't speak the language. You don't really act like them anymore. You know what I mean? But, yeah.
For me, like, especially when I was younger, the thing that was driving me was just going back, just wanting to see my grandma again. When I was in Ethiopia, like, it's just my village. Like, there was a lot of bad stuff going on there, too. So, like, I just, I was lost is a good word. I was just lost, too. Like, I didn't really know anything. Like, there was part of me that wanted to go back to my herding, because I honestly did really enjoy that. Like, for me, it was just mostly pretend. Like, I was always angry. Like, I was angry, like just at heart. I was just angry, and like people like would just tell me like I need to smile, and like especially that family, like they would always try to force me to smile and stuff. Like anger, just pretending. The older I got, like my drive to go back, honestly, just it started just getting less and less. Yeah, at that point, I didn't really know what to do, anything. I just, it's when I just started doing drugs, and like in the long run, obviously drugs aren't good for you, but like it kind of pissed me off because it killed most of my memories in Ethiopia. It just killed my memory in general. But like there were certain things I could remember before, but I couldn't really remember any. I can't remember anymore. It was hard.
My parents did that also, where they're like, you know, you don't seem happy and all this, da da da, and like in pictures, you never smile, blah blah blah. Then, like, as soon as they see me in Ethiopia and how happy I was, they're like, you know, like you seem happier there, you know, which was like true. But then I feel like they got a sense of jealousy that like them bringing me here didn't make me happy. So then, like, That's when they decided to put this fear in me where they were like, live you're gonna live on your own, like you can't come back. And yeah, I agree with them. Like, yeah, I was happier.
Yeah, and to go back to what you were saying too, I was like, I don't know if this is just an excuse for me. The reason why my drive just got lesser and lesser the older I got was because the same thing that Abraham was just saying, that like I didn't know what to expect when I got there. Like, first of all, I don't even know who's alive, and like them just creating a fake identity for me, like that didn't stick with me, and in the process of it I just lost who I was, or like who I used to be. And Ethiopians, like we are really close people, even though there's a lot of civil war and stuff. I think, like, we take a pride in our family and our culture and our country, and for me I was like that for a long time. I still do have pride in it, but like I was just losing that because, like, I felt like I wasn't even that anymore. So it was, I understand what he was saying. Like, I just show up there and I don't even speak the language anymore. It's like, now what? Like, because like I go to restaurants here in or in Minneapolis, like to this Ethiopian restaurant, and the people there, like they're talking to me in Amharic or Oromo, and they just expect me to know this. When I just look at them, they're like, "What the heck?" I'm like, "Sorry guys, I was adopted by white folks," and that like makes me think, like, I don't know how my family would react. And
Same here. Like when I left, like when the guy came and took me from camp, he didn't really come and take me. Apparently, the dude, like, he lived in my same village, but I never knew him. Because when I recently went, I met him, and he lived like in front of my dad's house, basically, like in front of his house. Like, what the hell? Like when he came and took me to Addis, like, it was just like one day I just kind of disappeared. Like I didn't say anything to like, my friends, like even like my siblings, like I didn't even know what day I was leaving. I didn't even know I was leaving. He just showed up and then I left. And like
yeah,
I thought I was coming back, but
did
I
they come
think
get you in
only
a
like
motorcycle? Sorry.
we didn't even get a motorcycle. We had to walk like freaking forever, and then like took a bus, and like we never rode a motorcycle. I just disappeared literally. No
Wow.
goodbyes. Like I always thought about, like I never got to say goodbye to anybody because like I didn't even know I was leaving. So how can it really be my fault? And like Habtamu, it wasn't your fault either for like you didn't know you were disappearing. You just kind of disappeared too. So
Right,
don't
and
feel bad. Like it's not your fault that you left. Somebody knew that you were leaving. You didn't just
Mhm.
like up and disappear. They come to our village talking about like they're gonna give us away and we're gonna get good education and all this. And some people, like, their parents didn't actually pass away. They were just lied to. Ethiopian adoptees that I have talked to and stuff, they found like their dad and stuff when they were told like their dad was dead, or like they found their mom alive when they were told like she passed away. So
I ended up in a pretty shitty situation because like all my documents weren't correct when I was first adopted, so I couldn't work for a while. Like, what I'm thinking is, like, I just plan on going back there. Hopefully, once I get enough money and long enough to hopefully relearn the language, find my family and relearn our culture, and me finding my brother. And I don't know how it was for you guys, but like in my village, like I had a pretty big family. Like all my uncles lived around me, my grandparents, and I guess my parents had a lot of siblings, so like they were just all around us. It would kind of be easy if I could actually just somehow just go back exactly to where I was.
And this is up to you because I help adoptees like search.
Hmm.
They might see you on TikTok, maybe not, but I don't know. The fact that you have some details and you kind of like know more or less the region, like when you're ready to start the process, like I can also help you.
If you can help me with that, that'd be great. I think it's important that we do this, and it helps me, it helps other people, and
yeah, I'm at work, so I gotta go. I love to do this chat again. Like honestly, it's pretty awesome because I never really like joined.
Yeah, no, love that you're a part of it. Thank you so much. Have a good night at work, and yeah, we'll keep talking.
All right,
yeah,
nice to meet all of you guys. Have to tell me you too, man.
yeah.
Nice talking
Thanks,
to you.
man. Thanks for hopping on.
Man.
Good talking to you. Good to meet you.
Bro. Later, guys.
Bye.
Okay.
Nice to meet you, Habtamu.
Yeah, you too.
Exactly. Talk soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, guys.